Live, okay. I'm going to free up some space so that I don't crash.
Oh, no, we don't
Go
want
ahead.
you to crash.
So you do your intro.
All right. Hey, everyone. This is Pasca and Judith. We're from the Connecticut for Responsible Technology. We're just back here on this Sunday gloomy day, and we connected with Johnny Flynn. And if you don't know Johnny Flynn, you got to get to know Johnny Flynn. He's an awesome individual that's been doing some amazing work across the different areas of Connecticut. But in particular, he's gotten into this 5G tech. So I'll let John introduce himself and why we're here.
Yeah, let's talk about our major stuff. We have a 5G lawsuit in Connecticut. We have 22 defendants. We're piling tons of data on them, and they have no idea what we're talking about, which is wonderful because they are over-radiating Connecticut. This display is Pasca's invention. On the right, this is Pasca, this is Judith, and I'm in the middle. Two ladies, and I'm the only man here. You remember Cabaret? So anyway, here we go. Pasca is a mastermind, and the mollusks involved, like Senate Majority Leader Bob Duff and, Saad War and all these individuals who have no idea how much harm they're putting Connecticut in. Why don't you take it away, Pasca?
Okay, guys. Well, anyway, thanks again this Sunday afternoon. I had initially been requested by Brookfield individuals, people that wanted to keep Brookfield safe and effective from any kind of radiation assault, because there's an antenna that's being proposed in Brookfield that would really be within a few miles of the school and less than a mile from another tower. And the people there wanted to have some help to figure out, is it true that there's a substantial gap in service? Those words are very important because according to the Telecommunication Act, these companies should be able to put their equipment to service people for cellular phone service when there's a substantial gap. And so they asked me to see what I can do to figure it out. And
right, here we go. I'm going to recap. Pasca is saying that towns are being told by Verizon, by Qualcomm, by these people on the left here, AT&T, Verizon, and there's a handful, T-Mobile. They're all maintaining there's gaps in service. Meanwhile, 98% of Connecticut is completely covered. So go ahead.
Exactly. So we ended up, I don't know if you see this, Judith, can you see this device?
Yes.
Okay.
She has a special meter.
Go ahead. It's a special meter called a cellular antenna. Oh my God, I just had a...
Now here we go. Her device.
Scanner. It's a scanner.
Her scanner only collects 4G data. There is no such invention collecting 5G data yet. So they can't tell you it's safe or not. They have no way to register through a scanner what's actually happening. So go ahead.
So the scanner can only handle 2G, 3G, 3G, 4G, and it doesn't pick up the 5G signals. And what I mean by that are those frequencies that might be considered in the phase. So What we did is, with the group of residents, citizens, Americans in Brookfield, I went out there a few times actually to get a reading of 20 locations. Actually, I need to update this chart because we started out with 8, we added a few more, and then we literally went up to 20. And that's what this report shows. So what I did is I collected this data. The machine actually, that little cute machine, that scanner, generates all this data. All I did was generate the colors to attribute to the different providers, then also generate this report card where we're measuring, we're trying to determine, what do these numbers mean?
Hold on. What we're saying is no one is monitoring 5G in the state of Connecticut or across the country for that matter. They don't monitor it. No one is actually capturing the data. There's no way to do it except for the way she devised. So here we go. We have a safety issue we're trying to describe to the court, in my case, with these ladies' help. But what actually happens is Pasca here is comparing the RSSI readings, which is a known topic, and we can't use the RSRQ data because it's an unknown. But what actually she's demonstrated right here is huge. She's saying 52% of the Brookfield antenna and RF radiation towers are excessive. Go ahead.
It's true, because if you look at this report card, this RSSI number should be anywhere from 90. In the 70s, you're kind of hitting a little too much power. This is power. Look at this definition, RSSI. It's received signal strength indicator. Okay, it's used to measure the power of these devices.
The
so
radiation.
If we start hitting
the radiation.
It's a little bit different from radiation. It's actually power coming off of those devices. Okay. And what I found was, in doing these sort selects and looking at the number of unique antennas we identified in our 20 location scanning sites, out of the 66 unique identified antennas that we found, that's a lot of antennas, guys. Think about this. 66 unique antennas were found in this area of Brookfield. 34 of them are in this gray zone, which is excessive by every one of these. I was hoping it was just one player. Maybe it was just Verizon. Maybe it was AT&T. No, they're all. Why? To what Johnny just said. No one is monitoring. No one is testing. No one is reviewing these even after they're installed to make sure that there's no glitches. These are very high-powered devices that are excessively beaming into our bedrooms, into our daycares, into our workplaces.
Let me interject. In Times Square in Manhattan, there are 2,600 antennas within 1 mile. There are 1,700. There are 2,600 towers. There are 1,700 rooftop antenna. And they're expecting that 90% of them are illegal. Hello, 90% is a lot. Go ahead.
Well,
Pasca, can I interject something here?
Sure, go ahead, Judith.
All right. According to the CT Siting Council, on their website, they have a citizen's guide to Siting Council procedures for cell tower. Quote, the cell phone service provider has the burden of proving to the council that the site selected is needed to provide cell phone service and that construction and operation of a cell tower at the site would not result in significant environmental impact.
Who's responsible?
That's what it says, the cell phone service provider. That's on the CT Siting Council website. It's called the Citizen's Guide to Siting Council Procedures for Cell Tower. It's right there.
Do you think they're doing their job? Who's doing their job? Nobody.
I hate to refer to these very nice, lovely ladies as watchdogs, but that's what they are.
Well, they're violating their oath, and in every time that we've had any dealings with them where we're appealing for them to do their job, such as public hearings, in the one case in Trumbull, when they were putting a cell tower that on a piece of property adjacent to an elementary school, Jane Ryan Elementary School, the owner of the property, it was going straight on her property about 25 feet from her living room. She testified under oath that there is no lapse in cell phone coverage. And they had two different cell phone companies with two different antennas. They had no lapse. And she said, you have a cell phone tower, a few hundred feet away over there. I'm just talking from the top of my head, over there. So you don't need one here. And their response, and this was dealing with Pura, their response, not the Siting Council, but Pura, their response was, oh, well, but that's for a different carrier. So we have to put one on your property, even though there's already a cell tower irradiating the elementary school kids, Pura said, well, we have to put it here because that's a different carrier, 2 different carriers. And the state of Connecticut, with these public agencies, their priority is to promote competition, fair competition among businesses. So I think it's very heartwarming to know that the state of Connecticut is has a mission statement to promote free competition, and they're so concerned about the business community. Meanwhile, as Pasca said, they keep building antennas. But in the case of Jane Ryan School, they had 2 antennas overlapping, not necessary. She testified, we have total cell phone coverage, there's no lapse. And they built it anyway. And there were about 12 of us testifying and informing them of the proven substantial biological harm that these would bring to our children who are more vulnerable than we are. But nope, they had their multiple antennas with no established proven need. In fact, the need, what was testified was that, in fact, there was 0 need, but they insisted on doing it. And yeah, go back, Pasca.
Well, I want to ask Pasca for clarification. Pasca, question for you. Ready?
Go ahead.
So here we are. Verizon wants a tower, they get it. AT&T wants an antenna, they put it on the tower. The towers share the tower, not the antenna, correct?
Correct.
So here we go.
So
if a third party wants another antenna, what happens then?
guess what? I'm so glad you said that. So what I'm seeing now is applications being submitted by Dish Wireless LLC. Okay, these are the people that own the Dish satellites, and they will get a rubber stamp. So like in Easton, there's an application in for a tower on Everett Road. All right, and I'm sure they're everywhere else because I've seen these applications. But in this one, 9 additional antennas, some of which are 5G higher frequencies in an area there's absolutely no need. And guess what? The rubber stamp is going to come out of CT siting, coming out of the towns. Oh, we cannot refuse this because the fair competition, like Judith said. Well, what is fair for the people? Now, this is where I'm getting a little annoyed. What is fair for the people is not considered. No health effects are considered. No redundancy. You know what? Dish has been sharing antennas with T-Mobile and AT&T, I believe, okay, for the last 6-7 years. But now they want to play big. They want their own antennas. They want to be a premier 5G provider. Go to Wikipedia and look up Dish LLC, and it'll say they want to be this virtual 5G provider.
Let's get a definition from Judith about adding all these antenna. What is heterodyning to explain it to the public?
Give me a second. I'm going to read it to you from, this is what I wrote. Let me find it in,
it's capturing all the frequencies within
an affidavit that I have written, and I have an explanation here. I can tell you off the top of my head, but okay. 1 second. I'm just looking, if you can bear with me.
It's creating a force field that captures all the radiation.
Pascal, do you want to explain it while I look for my explanation? Because I have what I wrote here.
It's a cumulative, it's an additive event that's happening. I was trying to show a screen on my, I don't know why it's not working. Anyway.
Well, here we go. If 2 people with a Verizon phone sit in a car, then through heterodyning, the 2 39 gigahertz phones add up to 78 gigahertz, which is above 60 gigahertz, where the properties of water change. So what's happening is you're made of water, you sit in a car with a Verizon phone, when you have a Verizon phone, and you end up cooking yourself. So when 10,000 people go to a World Cup soccer match, or 100,000 people, they provide boosters for that 5G so that everyone can answer their phone and do a selfie during the same soccer match, and these people are subjected to mass quantities, of RF radiation without their knowledge or consent.
Right.
Oh,
So
I
as you're
found the
mixing
quote.
all
That's
these
cool.
frequencies, as we're mixing all these frequencies together, they all start, like a symphony. Okay. You know how if someone comes in on a C note, um, and I'm not a musician, everything starts harmonizing and then adding and getting higher. And heterodyning is that literally adding up. So, like you were saying, Johnny, if I come in at 2.4 gig and there's a 5.8 gig, that 2.4 can raise up and add up to 7.8 gig or whatever. And it keeps
Well,
adding
here,
up.
so people understand. Your microwave oven in your kitchen is 2.4 gigahertz.
Right.
So would you put a baby inside it? Then don't put the smart meter near the crib.
Hey, John, tell them what happens when we get up to 60 gigahertz with heterodyning. Now, at 60 gigahertz, the
We die.
oxygen can no longer be absorbed into the bloodstream. So we
Yes,
suffocate.
you suffocate.
And I noticed on the Wrightson website, they already were talking about some service with 28 gigahertz. I mean, we're not talking 3 or 4 or 7. Verizon's already pushing 28 gigahertz. So it doesn't take long.
I'm pushing 28 gigahertz in Connecticut right now.
Yeah.
There's an
So
application
if
in
we get to
Berlin.
60, we suffocate. Now, what I
Okay,
found
yeah.
here,
Let me put it in terms they might understand. If you're 85 and you have a heart rate of 40 heartbeats per minute, you really shouldn't drive a car because you are suffocating. So you don't have enough oxygen to operate your brain, and you have a car accident.
why are we having more car accidents on the road nowadays? Is it all the mega towers that they've been putting alongside the roadways? I can feel them during my commute affecting me. I've had to take shielding measures in my car because I have a 2-hour commute. And there are more accidents. Might that be related? Just putting that out there. Now, I have a nice quote. I was just looking
Watch
for
this. Can you see the video? What would Dr. Evil say?
What does that mean? But this is a quote from physicist Leo Cashman. The pulsing adds to the frequencies that are actually in the wave, making it hold lots of other frequencies and increasing the biological impact of the wave, the radiation. And then the modulation, putting the information onto the pulsed carrier wave, whether by amplitude modulation or by frequency modulation, adds more actual frequencies onto the wave. And very often, those modulating frequencies are very biologically active in their impacts, mostly detrimental on the human or animal's body. I could not have said that myself, but that's from a physicist. It leaves me gobsmacked hearing that.
Maybe we should talk about the study from 1996, which was found fraudulent, just for a moment and say, hey, if that study was based on short-term exposure to a cell phone at a distance, not next to your ear, then you find out that what they were saying didn't cover long-term exposure at all. And you're being exposed to more and more towers by different carriers that are pulse technology. You could be getting hit with a pulse every 5 seconds.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the pulse modulated microwave radiation, because normal waves in nature are continuous waves, whereas pulse modulated microwave radiation, what is it? It's an outrageous figure. Is it 9,000 per second? It goes like this. It disrupts cellular function.
It's pretty much continuous.
Yeah. Well,
they say
the
it's
natural wave in nature is continuous, but from the frequencies from this technology, it's disturbed. It's pulse modulated. Do you understand? Am I out? Are you losing me?
Think about the best way to, in my opinion, the best way to think about pulse modulated. Think of modulate as a package. And when it's every time it pulses, it's delivering a different size packet. Okay. So
Oof.
one data stream might be, 3, gigabytes. Another data stream might be 10,000 gigabytes. You know what I mean? So each one is going to serve a different punch to your DNA at the cellular level. It'll either bend the DNA or it'll actually break, depending on. But these punches are coming out at us sporadically and consistently all the time.
And that disrupts cellular function. All systems, respiratory, neurological, they're all disrupted, the cells at the cellular level. So we cannot function. Now, it may be a slow death, or some people, it's immediate. You don't know how it affects them. My mother-in-law went to the Trumbull Mall. It was a year ago, February. And they have a ton of antennas there, an array. And she's 85. So she went to the mall. She felt very faint in Macy's, and she couldn't breathe. Somehow she made it back to her car. Once inside her car, she could breathe again because the car operates as a Faraday cage, and it blocks all those frequencies. So she recovered, I will say, from the immediate symptoms, but who knows the long-term damage that did to her system. If it's bad enough, she was ready to faint and she couldn't breathe. That's pretty profound. I did inform the town of Trumbull in that illegal affidavit. She did what happened to her. And since then, they've only added more antennas. They ignored us and added more antennas.
Let me interject. I did serve them with a subpoena.
Mm-hmm. Well deserved. Well deserved. And there are more.
What's up? Yep.
They have more 5G enabled towers.
5G conference call.
We found that, Pasca and I, on the CT sighting Pura website. I guess it's the Pura one. They have more coming up, even though we spoke with them and warned them. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. Cool.
So, Judith, I did find a better definition of heterodyning is when two or more frequencies are combined to produce two new frequencies that will be combined to become more powerful and therefore more harmful than a single frequency.
That's very simple.
That's the simplest definition,
like
because it's a complex thing.
The physicist, because what that gave me a glimpse was all the interaction between the frequencies and how they carry more. Each wave becomes more loaded with frequencies, additional frequencies and data, which I can't quite understand. But there's a tremendous interaction and complexity involved. And the bottom line, it just expands geometrically, the harm. It's geometric, not additive.
So, I mean, I want to bring this back because now it's 4:59. I know people want to get to making dinner and stuff like that.
24 minutes. But I think I want to say that it is it's like a symphony.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting hit with
harmonizing heterodyny, yeah.
With the oboe and the trumpets, and then you're in with the violins, and each one goes right through you. Goes through cement.
Including that smart meter that's on our house without our permission and without our knowledge, because very few people understand that. And now that's playing in the mix in our community and in our homes and on that antenna that's being placed on the towers and on our utility poles.
We need to have another meeting.
We need to hit these people with facts, okay? 600 municipalities in Italy outlawed 5G. 600.
That's amazing.
Well, also,
and in France,
yeah,
in France, they shut down a tower because it was killing their cows. And a judge actually ordered them in France because on average, a farmer with like 1,000 cows or so would only lose about 10 cows or so, but he was losing 40. And so what I'm telling people here in Connecticut, if you have expensive, cows are very important and expensive. Horses. Easton alone has over 200 horses is my estimate. Okay. How many other people? And these all are affected fertility is affected.
Well, past
Hello,
that,
we have
let's talk about the pollinators. We're worried about the cows because we need to eat.
you know what,
It destroys
Judith?
the
I totally
pollinators.
agree with you. I agree with you.
And that gets
However,
even worse at that level. And,
Folks,
the
listen.
FCC was given reports, data about the pollinators, and they ignored it when they set their standards back in 1996.
Folks, Blumenthal went to Phoenix, Arizona, visited a rooftop building where they had numerous illegal antennas because workmen were injured by going up there for a half an hour.
Wow.
So what happened was AT&T, I believe it was the carrier, got fined 60 grand. Okay. No one knows it. It's in the documents. It's in
Pat
the
on the
lawsuit.
wrist.
Here we go. They are aware.
Yeah.
If they went to this rooftop in Phoenix and they find one and they don't regulate anywhere else in the country. So when you go to East,
I wonder how.
There's
Go ahead,
problems,
Johnny. I'm sorry.
There's problems in East Haven. There's problems in Seymour, Connecticut, Hamden, Connecticut. And the people are totally unaware.
You know what? We have sent legal documents to Lamont, to Tong, to state reps, to here on the Siting Council. They're aware. I mean, this is full of documented, substantial evidence. They are aware. It includes our own data, such as past is gathered. We've gone out. We've measured things. We all have meters. We have sent this information on. And they're choosing to ignore us.
Well, hold on. In the 5G lawsuit, the Attorney General is defending them, and you notified him of his risk. And
yes,
I asked the judge I asked the judge to remove the Attorney General from providing a defense for people who could be causing autism across the state. Not only autism, but infertility across the state to every child.
Alzheimer's, dementia.
Cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, everything.
Well, if we're going to just cast a net out here, I'll just say I submitted a notice of liability to United Illuminating about their what they forced on our houses, those smart meters, and it was a very extensive one, very extensive. And I got a letter proving the harm, and I got a letter back from Assistant Attorney General John Wright saying, "Oh, there's no problem here. Just go to the website and take a look. It's fine." No, all the evidence was there. So it's not just Attorney General Tong. It's the Assistant Attorney General sent me a personal letter saying, "Oh no, all my concerns are illegitimate."
Well, John Wright should be sued.
He's lying. He's lying because I gave him the evidence.
Hey guys, I just wanted to change a little direction here. I just wanted to show this map. This is the Connecticut Education Network, CEN. And look at all this fiber that we have put in all over Connecticut. We have 2,500 miles of optical fiber going to our school and industries. Okay. My question is, why do our schools have exclusive Wi-Fi, so many Wi-Fi routers radiating our children in our classrooms when we already have had for the last, 10 years or so, fiber installed to our schools? This is their map, not mine. Okay. This is horrendous that we implemented Wi-Fi wireless on schools when they have fiber, and all they had to do was hardwire their devices. So
other countries don't allow it.
Hold on. That cost Connecticut $500 million. That infrastructure. That was the price tag for hardwire Connecticut.
Right.
$500 million, which we fully paid for already.
It's done.
Right. Well, that's different. That's in addition, right? But here's the deal: is these schools already have hardwired fiber optics to the school,
there's
and
no
now
need.
the industry has. There's no need. There's no need. They've been snookered by the industry reps. Put in a Wi-Fi router.
Wireless in almost every school in Connecticut. Every hospital, by the way, every
I don't want to go to a
veteran
hospital. It's
has
dangerous.
has hardwired Wi-Fi.
Let me tell you, I have written letters to the principals of the schools in Trumbull that have these towers, and with all the evidence of harm, everything, and they will not respond. And I'm saying, hey, you guys are at risk. Nobody's answering. It's very sad, but the children, as we all know, are far more vulnerable with developing brains and thin skulls. It affects them so much worse than it does adults. It's bad enough for us, but to do it to children is absolutely unconscionable. And other countries don't allow it in
Every
children.
nursery, every veterans hospital, every acute care facility, every old age home.
It's a sin against children to expose
And look
them.
at this school in Greenwich. Look at this school in Greenwich. This is an picture taken by someone who resides in Greenwich. Okay.
Yep.
5G antenna right across the school.
Well, they have them adjacent to the schools. They have this huge macro tower on the Merritt Parkway, directly adjacent to the Boys and Girls Village in Stratford. They're picking on orphans. There's no need for this.
Greenwich has a cancer cluster around one of those schools. I've read about it.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
But this is really the best too. Look at this. They hide 5G and other antennas in a chimney, Johnny.
Okay? I saw that.
Why?
Yeah, I have that picture.
Because they know we know.
That's an exhibit in the lawsuit.
Pasca, do you have the picture of the flagpole at the Beardsley Zoo where those poor animals are suffering? They have these very thick flagpoles.
Not in here. Not in here.
I have one. Do you want me to? I could put it up. I don't know. We can just talk about it.
So, I mean, John, what happened is I took my I was with my family at the zoo, the Beardsley Zoo, and I had my meter because I'm one of those geeky people that carry their meter with her in my purse. And I was curious.
I have my meter.
I have my meter. That's what we do.
I was like shocked with the radiation level. I was shocked with the radiation.
This is the one I recommend.
Which one?
Meter is this meter. It
rocks.
rocks.
I got it here. I got it.
I have a smart.
All right, it's on my screen, Pasca.
10 Mars TM 195 3-axis RF strength field meter.
Okay.
179 big ones.
Let's see, Pasca, where's the button for me to share my screen? What do I do with this?
You know what? I'm so new with this restreaming thing.
This is a new one. Let me see. I mean, it's just
you have to adjust the video part.
See if you have a screen share thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm new to this. Let's see. What's that? I'm afraid to hit buttons. Oh, screen share. Allow. Okay.
There you go.
Did it go up?
I see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just press on it.
They have these very thick flagpoles. I think we should go take a look at the animals. I'd like a FOIA on how the animals are doing at the Beardsley Zoo. It was never great before. It was kind of depressing. I hate to see it now. But with these thick we don't know how many antennas are going inside.
Well, let's put it this way. 0.05 RF radiation causes frogs to be infertile. 0.05 frogs. And DNA of a frog is very similar to human, unfortunately, one of the closest genomes. And if 0.5 RF makes a frog infertile, why did we set the Connecticut limit to 600, which in fact it's testing at 1,000 as an average?
Well, we really don't have any guidelines. We have no guidelines. They're garbage guidelines.
Why in Europe is the standard for most European countries 10 microwatts per meter squared, which is still, harm starts at 1. Okay, it's not great, but at Europe, the standard is 10 microwatts per meter squared, but in America, it's 1,000 microwatts per meter squared. And that causes excessive damage. But when I go off my meter to where I work, it's 1,900 microwatts per meter squared. To the town hall, it's microwatts 1900 microwatts per meter squared. So say the FCC standards, which are a joke, are like at 1,000, which is abysmal.
Well, hold on.
Everywhere I go, we're way above that.
You see this? 700 RF makes your hair fall out. You
There you
think
go.
I want
I'm getting
1,000?
cataracts. I'm getting
Yeah.
cataracts. Let's talk about those.
700.
Well, that's a different. I'll go on that subject later. I was talking about the headlights, what they're putting in those, but that's something different.
Well, I read that 11 RF causes retinal detachment.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Italy, Russia, and Poland are 10 RF as their legal limit.
How come
But
they're protecting
12
their population, but we aren't? We're not protected.
13, 14, and 15 cause thyroid cancer and breast cancer, brain cancer, and the fourth one is lymph node cancer. So here we are, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, infertility. Wow.
Sounds like an existential crisis, doesn't it?
It'll kill your sperm. No, it's a
What kind of,
field.
what do you have coming up next with the next generation? Are we going to have a replacement generation coming up?
No, they want to wipe out a generation.
Well, let's not go into Yuval Harari.
They'll have robotics.
That's right, transhumanism.
No.
Elon Musk is now saying we have to allow transhumanism to defend ourselves against AI. Did you read that latest one? Because AI is going to take over, and AI is the devil. So we have to, some of us, a certain percentage of the population, according to Elon Musk, has got to allow themselves to morph into AI transhuman hybrids so that they can protect the rest of us from AI. That's what Elon Musk has said.
Well, I didn't tell you about my last motion in the 5G case, but let me mention what it is.
Yeah.
Neuro rights into our Connecticut state constitution.
Yes.
They're gonna throw that motion out like it's nobody's business.
Well, you know, the science is way ahead of the ethics. I mean, our morality, you know what? Our cultural morality and ethics is regressing while the science is just exploding into uncharted territories. We are not equipped to deal with all this. And most people talk about ethics are in denial about the harm they're causing their children because they like the convenience.
Do you realize?
So what do we do about all
I'm
this,
just putting that
guys?
out
Come
there.
on.
Realize a few things. In the lawsuit, we asked the judge to remove the chips, biometric Yale chips, in Phil Marie, and the judge said no. And I
How can you do
explained
that?
to the judge
It's his
that
body.
it's torture, daily torture.
It's his
But
body.
hold on. I could appeal any one of these decisions and take it to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should. Unfortunately, folks, these things cost money. And the benefit, I can't even tell you, there's over 1 million targeted Americans on Twitter. They have Havana syndrome. They have MK Ultra. They have all these people are sending me affidavits, documents, telling me their life story on Twitter in Messenger. And you know what? Here I am. I have my finger in the dike and the dam is breaking. These people have nowhere to go.
You know, John, people, for those who like to dismiss us as whack jobs, Havana syndrome is the officially sanctioned term for American State Department officials who were abused by the irradiation in Cuba. I mean, the State Department, they're even talking about DC. So we're not whack jobs.
We're not in denial. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because Biden passed the Havana Act.
What was that?
Reparations for injured parties due to the federal government's DARPA shit.
He did?
Yeah, a year and a half ago. You know, right when he came into office. Biden did one thing right.
And who's getting the reparations? State Department officials?
Everyone who is at the embassy, over 200 people. There's
So
3
this is for
doctors
government
involved.
officials, right?
It's in the lawsuit. Read the thing. It's all in there. It's a home run. Now, if Biden administration passed the Havana Act, hello, and Marco Rubio co-wrote it, there's no reason why the state of Connecticut is allowing Yale to do the same goddamn thing.
Come on, you know why, Johnny. You know why.
I know why.
Yale is run by WHO and the UN and has nothing to do with America. I'm sorry.
I
No,
know why.
our universities are owned by foreign interests. They're bought and
Exactly.
sold by foreign interests.
I have discovered things that are unconscionable.
Exactly.
What? Yale? Usually Yale, right?
You know, Annie Lamont pays Yale doctors' salaries out of SEMA 4.
Well, I'm an employee with, somebody, and SEMA 4, when we had to get the testing done, SEMA
Don't bring
4,
it up.
that's
Don't
Annie
make
Lamont.
yourself. Don't take.
All right,
don't
take it out.
continue the sentence.
Okay, I'm not. I just said somebody.
Somebody I know.
Somebody.
Well, anyway,
All right.
I think we should wrap it up.
Maybe you should cut
Yep,
out that
let's
part.
wrap it up.
So God
so
bless
what do we
you,
know
ladies.
now?
All I can tell you is that January 6th of this next upcoming year is a game changer in Connecticut.
That's right. The whole country.
Follow USCV Utah 380.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You told me that, was it you who explained to me how the Supreme Court justices are kind of cornered on this one? They really have to abide by this?
A lovely lady named Dawn is arranging a Connecticut conference call with the Brunsons.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it.
And I shall be a speaker.
Uh-oh, that's trouble.
Yeah, I'm going to let it all hang out.
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. Is it going to be
Woo.
public?
I can get you two ladies in on it.
That would be great. I'd love it. I've read the
It
case.
was going to be an event, but it's too close to Christmas for the Brunsons with their... Did you see yesterday? The Epoch Times did a story about the Brunsons.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have to find that.
I saw
No,
that.
I was too
I
busy.
shared it today on my YouTube, Twitter.
I was busy making gummy bears, okay, and other things, and food preservation.
Well, too bad Philip is handling it because my man Roman is the bomb.
I'll have to take a look at it. So stay tuned. We want everyone to feel encouraged. If to go to the Pura site, go to CT sighting, find out what's being put into your town, and literally understand what they're installing, and you have a right to say no. Everybody has a right to the protection and privacy of their home, and we have a right to be safe in our home. I don't give a hoot about FCC, and we shouldn't give a hoot about FCC. All right? They're just an agency.
And
They're not
agencies, as you
our-
know, from the Supreme Court, do not have the authority to make law and impose law on us.
Exactly. Thank you. West Virginia versus the EPA. Look up the case and understand it, and it applies to all agencies, including, guess what? Our Connecticut employees.
Yeah.
Our Connecticut employees work for us. All right? They don't work, we don't work for them. So if we want to say no, we should have the strength and the fortitude to object because we have abundant evidence of harmful effects.
We have 11,000 exhibits for Judge Meyer. The bad news about the judge in the 5G Connecticut case is that he has a signed confidentiality agreement with U.S. Senator Blumenthal, taking all the bribes. Just like
Wow.
Oxycontin.
Wow.
Can he be recused?
I asked him to recuse himself, and he said no.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's see if he can be fair.
Well, he
And
is
look
our
at
fourth
11,000.
judge, but he is a Yale professor on the side. What do you think?
Uh-oh.
Don't
Don't worry.
who
Well, I
got
guess
this.
we're going to be I guess we'll be changing venues, John. We'll have to change
No.
venues
I
to
got
another
this.
court.
I got this.
I'm sure you
Okay.
do.
I have
Hey, guys, if
17
anyone here listening
I
wants
have
to contribute to
17.
John,
I do have 17 Navy SEAL friends.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow.
They're down.
Yeah, if you connect with
John,
Dawn,
can I just say one thing and we'll close this off?
I gotta go. Yeah.
Where, if people want to contribute to your efforts for the lawsuit, where should they contribute and how do they contact you?
The
Because I'm
site
not collecting any money.
the site is down because 9 of our bank accounts have been hacked.
Oh, wow.
The site is Flynn2022USSenate.com.
Okay.
We are now at Patriot Bank because we got hacked all over the damn place. Unfortunately, they don't have the ability to collect from a Wix site, which we are a Wix site. So we're moving to People's Bank, MT, whatever it is.
M&T.
MT Bank.
They can't find the forms.
Okay. Do you have a P.O. box we could send cash?
You can send checks to 31 Quintard Avenue, Norwalk, Connecticut, 06854. That would be greatly appreciated.
Why'd you spell it?
Okay.
31 Quintard Avenue, like the Captain Quintard. He's a famous sailor. Quintard Avenue, Norwalk, Norwalk, Connecticut, 06854. Now, write in the caption 5G, please. I will not put it in the campaign account if I don't think I can, but I'm working it all out. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, folks,
All right.
we've been funding this ourselves. I got 50 grand in so far. So I'm at my limit because if I spend 51 grand, I have to file with the FEC, which is a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I hear you. And I have to tell everybody that's listening, this 5G effort, I founded this with someone else, in 2019 after they passed that acceleration bill, which they basically did to rush through 5G without any of our awareness and our consent. And we have, this is a grassroots. We've raised money only really to support printing, and it's people like Judith and other members that have privately helped me fund some printing and things like that. We have not raised a lot of money, but that's going to be changing soon because we're going to need help in order to move this to the next level with affidavits that we have written, that we need to serve towns, and we need to educate them on the law, that we have a right to say no, and they have a duty to honor their oath of office. So we're still a grassroots organization, unincorporated, with the intention just to really make people aware of what they can do. So I want to thank you guys for today. Thank you, Johnny, for the opportunity to share the latest data. And I thought this excessive amount of power in our community that's been, basically overlooked, unwatched, unmonitored, unassessed is really critical, because that means that we're being harmed every day that we drive on public right-of-ways and public roads and going to work and sending our kids to school. And that's just not right. Anyway, have a great Sunday night, everybody. And we'll see you soon.
I want to thank Judith. Hold on. I just want to thank Judith for having the foresight to, right out of the get-go, we sent many, many affidavits to our elected officials. Mrs. Simmons, Nick Simmons, Marissa Paslick, all these Pura, Siting Council, Senate Majority Leader Duff, Themis Claridis, all these people, Saad Anwar, who's a U.S. A state senator, she had the foresight to send them admissions in the lawsuit that they've never answered. So therefore, they already breached their oath of office. They are in big trouble. because I love to cross-examine these people.
Well, especially when the Brunson lawsuit goes through, which holds elected officials liable if they do not honor their oath. It's considered treason.
Correct. Bye-bye, Blumenthal, Murphy, Himes, DeLauro, Hayes, Larson, and Joe Courtney.
There you go.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass.
All right.
All right, I gotta go.
Great night. Talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.